Hi everybody. Today let us start a new application that is audio player. Okay, so by doing this application, what and all we will learn? We will learn service, means how to implement the service in Android application and why we need services and what all the uses of services, and then how to use media player in Android application and also how to create folders. Okay, so before starting Android application, let us see what is service. Okay, basically service is a Android application component which runs in the background without direct interaction with the user. It means if you consider the activity, user can directly interact with the activity. It means you can display the buttons or any other UI components on the activity where user can interact with the activity. It means user can click on the button, or user can enter some data in the edit text. If not, you can use the images. Okay, so user can interact with the activity, whereas service you can't interact with the activity. Just it provides a service to the other components of Android application. Okay, so basically Android is used for repetitive and potentially long running operations. For example, if you want to download some content from the internet, or if you want to play the music in the background. Okay, so for such type of activities you can use the services. Okay, and also service runs in the same process as the main thread of your application runs, means where the UI is displayed, means the main thread of your Android application is used to display the UI. Okay, in the same way, in the same process, the service also runs. Okay, and Android provides some predefined system services, for example location based services, and also we can create our own services in Android application. Okay, and basically why we need service. Okay, service run with high priority and priority than inactive or invisible activities and threads. It means suppose I'll explain one scenario, like there is one service, and if you consider one thread, as I explained, service is used to do the background process. It means if you want to run something, or if you want to do something in the background, for that purpose we use the service. Okay, in the same way thread is also used for background process or whatever. If you want to do something in the background that need not to be interacted with the user, so okay, such type of tasks can be handled by threads also. Now what is the difference, or why we have to go for service rather than threads? Okay, so in Android there are some critical resources like memory. Okay, so whenever the application exceeds the memory limit, at that time the Android system will forcefully closes, or it tries to kill the Android application. Okay, so at that time if you are using threads, okay, so then the threads will be removed, or they will be stopped abruptly. Okay, rather than stopping the services. It means priority to the services are more compared to the threads. Okay, that is about thread. And also, like as I told, Android system less probability Android system it rarely closes the services when both the services and threads are running. Okay, so threads are more prone at this type of situations. Threads are closed likely. Okay, and services can also be configured to be restarted. Suppose due to shortage of resources, if a service is stopped abruptly, then even you can restart the service. Okay, whenever your application is having enough availability for the resources, at that time you can restart the service, but that option is not there with the threads. Okay, so these are the points you have to know about service. Okay, I'll repeat it once again. Service is a component of Android application which runs in the background, where it is having a minimal interaction with the user. Okay, and basically service is used for long running tasks or repetitive operations. Okay, suppose if you want to download something from the internet, okay, if you want to perform the client server communication, it means if you want to send some data from your application to the server, okay, and if you want to play the music in the background, so for such type of activities we can use the service. Okay, and as I explained, service runs in the same process as your main thread runs, and also Android provides some predefined services like location based services, etc., and we can also create our own services, and they are called as custom services. Okay, and as I explained, why we need service means because it is having higher priority as it is a component of Android application, and whenever there is a shortage for the memory at that time, if you have threads or inactive and invisible activities and service, then invisible activities and threads are more prone to they will be destroyed, okay, rather than destroying the services. Okay, so that's about service. Let us try to implement this service. Okay, as I explained, our agenda is we have to design one audio player. Okay, let us use service here, because even if I minimize, or if I close the application, your audio player, then also in the background it has to play the music. Okay, so for that purpose, let us go with the service this time. I will show how to implement the service. Okay, and let us start implementing the service now. Okay, I'll create one new application. Go to file, select new option. Okay, I'll give the name as audio player. So click on next. Use blank activity. Here you can change the activity name if you wish, then click on finish. So here is our audio player application. I will remove this hello world. Okay, before starting this, I will show the demo how exactly or what we will do with this application. Okay, so here is the demo. So this is my application where I can play the music, and also I can stop the music. So if I click on the play music, you can check it out. Okay, so I'll stop the music. So this is what we have to do in this application. When I click on this button, it has to play the music, and when I click on stop, it has to stop the music. Okay, so let us start doing this. So I will add two buttons here. As usual, I will edit the text. I will change it to play, and you have to change the ID. So I'll make it as button1_play. Okay, so I will add one more button. I'll change the text to stop. Okay, and also I will change the ID. This is button2_stop. Okay, so I will increase the width of these buttons. I'll make it as match parent for this also. Okay, so we have two buttons. So when user clicks on this play button, it has to start playing the music, and when I click on stop button, it has to stop the music. Okay, now when I explained the application structure, file structure of Android application, okay, I have explained about all these folders, what do you mean by source, gen folder, and also assets, etc. But where I have to add the audio here, because if I want to play music, I have to add one audio file here. So where I have to add it? So for that you have to create your own folder. Okay, so I'll show how to create the folder. You can note it down. So as I told, all the resources should be inside the resource folder. Okay, for example, images or your XML files or your menu XML files or whatever. Okay, so all those resources has to be inside the resource folder. So inside the resource folder, I'll create one folder. So select your resource, RES, right click, go to new option, select folder. Okay, it is asking for the name. Here name it as raw and click on finish. So you can see here, this is your raw folder. So to this folder I will add one audio file. It is same as like if you want to display some images in your application, you have to add the images to the drawable folder. In the same way, if you want to play the music, you should add audio files to your raw folder. Okay, I'll copy one audio. Okay, and I'll paste it here. Select your raw folder and paste. Okay, you can check it out. Here is your song. Now as I told, here instead of using activity, instead of implementing the code to play the music inside the activity, what I will do is I will give action to these two buttons in the activity in your page. Okay, and the code that has to be written to play the music, that we will write it into the service. Okay, so I will show how to implement the service here. So before that, as we have added two buttons to our XML file, I will declare them here. So button, okay, I'll name it as btn play, and then it is btn stop. Okay, so I will initialize them. Play is equal to, it is a button, find that button by id, find view by id, or dot id dot. Okay, you have to change the changes, you have to save the changes. Okay, here it is button 1 underscore play in the statement. Okay, so now you have to initialize other button also. Button find view by id, or dot id dot button 2 underscore stop, then end the statement. Okay, now implement the on click listener for both the buttons. How to do that? Use button play. See, instead of doing this, you have one more option. See, I don't want to declare these buttons. Okay, and even I don't want to add all these statements, because it is like it is adding more code here. Okay, instead of this, what we can do is we have one more option for that. You can select the button, okay, and you can check it out. When you select the button, to the right of your layout you have one option called as properties. Okay, in the properties it is showing id is equal to this one, button 1 underscore play, then layout, style, etc. In the same way, if you go down, you will find one option, that is on click. You can expand this. Okay, you can see here you have an option called as on click. Okay, here you have to give the method name. It means whenever user clicks on this button, which method it has to call. Okay, so that method name you have to provide here. So for that I will give the name as play music. So this is the button name. So copy that and go to your Java code. Okay, not inside the onCreate method. Remember, we are writing a separate method. So if you want this onCreate options menu, you can keep it. If not, you can delete it. So remember, we are not adding that method inside your onCreate. Outside the onCreate, write public void, paste the name which you have provided for your button on click. Remember, for on click we have provided play music method. Okay, so this is the name we have provided. So here use public void play music. Inside that view v. Okay, so this is the method which will be called whenever you click on the button. Just to make the code simple, okay, we can implement like this instead of adding every time buttons and then implementing the on click listener for those buttons. Okay, instead of doing that, so as we have learned enough things till now, like how to add the components or how to provide the action to the components, we can go with this method also. Okay, so now after adding this, just to check whether it is working or not, I will put one toast message, toast dot make text. Okay, and same, it has 3 parameters. You can give the context and then okay, well, you have clicked on button, you have clicked on play. Okay, so I will take this side and duration I will give it as toast dot length short and then show the message. Okay, so now I will add one more method for your second button. So select the button first, then go to your properties. Here you have the on click option. There you click, then you can give the method name, that is stop music. You just copy the name. Be careful while you are copying it, because if you mismatch the name here and in your Java code, then it won't work. Okay, so here you have to give public void, then paste the method name, and it should accept one parameter, that is view, and then okay, here also I will add the toast message just to check whether it is working or not. Okay, you have clicked on stop. Okay, so let us try to execute this application. Select the application, run the application. Okay, we'll go back. Check the status. It is installing the okay, installation is success. So here is your application. If I click on play, it is showing well you have clicked on play, and if I click on stop, well you have clicked on stop. So it is working fine. So instead of adding all the components and giving the action to your buttons, you can add the methods, so where the code will be clean. Okay, just you have two methods. Okay, so now onwards we will go with this method only, with this type of coding, because it reduces our code. Now our main objective is we have to start creating the service. Okay, now suppose if you want to create a page in an Android application, so what are the steps you will follow? The first step is you have to create the XML file. Okay, so here as I told, service it don't have any UI, means user cannot interact with the service. It means you need not to create the XML file here. Okay, so what is our second step to create the activity? We have to create the Java file, and that class has to extend the activity. Here we have to create the Java file first. So go to your package, select right click, okay, go to new option and then select class. Here I'll give the name as my service, click on finish. So here is your class. So if you want to create an activity, what you have to do, your class has to extend the activity, but here we are creating the service, so your class has to extend the service. Okay, here it is, service android.app. Okay, so now when you do that, it is showing an error here, so just keep the cursor there. It will ask you to add some unimplemented methods, so click on that option. So it will add the method, that is your onBind method. Remember, if you want to start this service, there are two ways. You can start the service using start service method, if not bind service method. Okay, that I will explain later. So we have created the service. Now we have to add some more methods here. I will show how to add the methods. Just you have to type on create. This is okay, our first method. Then you have to add one more method, that on start command. Okay, you can use on start or unstart command. Then after that you have to add one more method, that is on destroy. So these are the basic methods which are used in service: on bind, then on create, on start command, then on destroy. Okay, so initially as we are creating a simple music player, if not a simple audio player, so we need not to go with on bind method. Okay, just I'll explain on create, on start command and on destroy. So when it comes to like inter-process communication, where an external application can provide a service to your application, means if you want to communicate between two processes, at that time you can go with the binder service. Okay, that part we will see later. So as of now we will see a simple service. Okay, I will explain the life cycle here. It means what all the different stages the service will undergo. First, whenever you start the service, okay, the first method which will be called is on create. It means in this method the service will be created. Okay, and so whenever you start the service, after on create, the first method which will be executed is on start command. It means your service has been started. Then if you want to stop the service, at that time on destroy will be called. Okay, we will see service lifecycle in detail in upcoming sessions. Okay, so now let us start implementing the media player or audio player inside this service. Okay, so as I told, as we are working with the activity, whatever the components you want to initialize, those things has to be initialized inside the onCreate method, because this block will be executed only once whenever activity is created. Okay, in the same way you can initialize all the components inside the onCreate in your service. Okay, as we have to play the music here, we have to use one component called as media player. Okay, I'll give the name as MP. Then go to your onCreate method. In the onCreate method you can create the, or you can initialize the your MP3 player, or if not your media player. Okay, so media player dot create. It asks for two parameters. One is context. So what is your context? It is, can you use my service dot this. Okay, let us try this. Let us see whether it is working or not. Your service context. Okay, and what is the resource ID? It means which song you want to play. So what is the path for your audio file? So that path, where it is inside the resource and inside the raw folder. You can check it out. We have the song here inside the resource, inside the raw folder. Okay, so now r.raw song1. So this will be created, or this will be executed only once whenever you have created the service. Now whenever you start the service, every time you call start method, at that time this particular block will be executed. It is similar to your start method, on start method. Okay, so here we have to play the music. So how to play the music? Just use your media player dot start. Okay, so whenever user clicks on the stop service, if not whenever user calls the stop method, okay, at that time stop service method, or whenever the stop service is executed in your activity, at that time on destroy will be called. So here we have to stop the service. Okay, for that your music player dot stop, end the statement. Okay, now we have created the service. So go to your main activity. Whenever user clicks on the play music, instead of showing this toast message, what we have to do? We have to start playing the music. So for that you have to call the service. Now if you want to navigate from your activity to another activity, what you have to do? You have to use the intent. In the same way, if you want to call the service also, you have to use the intent. Remember, other than content providers in Android application, all other components of Android application like activity, service and broadcast receiver uses the intents to navigate or to pass the messages between them. Okay, so now let us start the intent here. So use intent. Okay, I'll give the name as I is equal to new intent. You have to pass the source and destination address. Your source address is main activity dot this. Okay, then you have to start the service here. So the service name is my service dot class. Okay, so if you want to start the activity, we used to call start activity. As now we have to start the service, so we have to go with the start service method. Okay, you can see here start service. So it is asking for the intent, pass the intent, then save the changes. Okay, now if you try to execute this application, it will throw the exception. Why? As I told, what all the components you are adding to your application, or whatever the pages you are adding, that has to be mentioned in your Android manifest file. Okay, so let us go to the Android manifest file, select application and go down, click on add. So here it is giving some options, which component you want to add, is it activity or any other component. Okay, so now we have to add the service. Select service, click on OK. It is asking for the name. What is the service name? So click on browse. It will show you the options. Okay, here it is, my service. Select that, click on OK and save the changes. Now look into your XML file, Android manifest XML file. Can you see this? Instead of activity, it has added service here. Okay, so let us start executing this application. Select the application, run it. Okay, it's running. Well, here is your application. So if I click on play button, let me see what will happen. Okay, so it is playing the music. So let us stop the music. Click on stop button. So but we haven't given any action here for the stop method. So just I will reduce the sound here. Okay, so we haven't added any action to the stop button, means we haven't stopped the music. Your play is working fine. So now let us go to the code and let us try to stop the music. Okay, so you have to, if you want to stop the music, you have to create the same intent. Okay, and you have to call stop method, stop service. Okay, pass the intent and the statement. So now try to execute. Okay, so I'll click on the play button. Okay, I'll click on stop button. Okay, music has been stopped. So if you click play once again, okay, I'll stop it. So it is working fine. So this is how you can design the audio player, but here you have to add some more options, like you have to pass the music, and if you want to display the image related to that song, you can display it here using the image view. You can bring, suppose like I'll show it in the XML file. Go to your main XML file. We have only 2 buttons. So instead of wrap content, just I will change the width to I'll change it to wrap content instead of match parent for this also. So I'll bring them down. Okay, so you can use the image buttons here instead of plain buttons, so that it looks like a audio player, and here you can add one image view. Okay, I'll select the IC launcher, and you can edit the width. Okay, something like 200 dp width, and height also I'll change. Okay, like this you can create the audio player. You can add some more buttons. Okay, like you can pass the song. Okay, so all those options you can add it, so that I'll give it as the assignment to you. So please do it. Do some R&D search in the internet, and you can do this task. It is very simple. Okay, so this is how you can use service in Android application. Okay, actually as I explained, if you want to learn like how to do inter-process communication, like how to get the service externally. Okay, so whatever we have whatever we have did till now is internal service. Okay, so in your application itself you have created a separate class, separate service, and from that you are getting the service that is playing the music. Okay, now suppose if you want to get the service from external application, means from other process other than your main application. Okay, so for that we have to go for the inter-process communication, where we have to use AIDL, Android Interface Definition Language. Okay, so all those things we will learn in the upcoming sessions.